The purpose of today's video is to share with you guys my experience with starting my career in a 9 to 5 desk job, gaining a bunch of weight in a short amount of time, and then the steps that I took to be able to incrementally lose that weight. And my hope is that you can take some type of nugget or tip from this video, from what I did in the past, and hopefully implement it into your own blueprint or plan to help you with your weight loss journey. So I got my first desk job working as an accountant at the beginning of 2013. And during that time, I weighed about 140, 145-ish pounds. And at the time, I was really not caring what I had eaten. My lunches would mainly consist of either McDonald's, Taco Bell, pizza, that garbage. Dinner would consist of whatever I had bought at Costco that was in the freezer that night. Breakfast was hit or miss. I either ate it or I didn't. If I did, it wasn't anything great. Anyways, in that time, I was also going to the gym, but I would go about 5 days a week, but I didn't have a plan on what I was there for. I was just kind of going to the gym to go to the gym. So I didn't have really any sense of what I was going for, whether I wanted to improve my endurance, my strength, body composition, anything. Like, I just didn't have a plan. And that's not the way to go about this. So fast forward 2 years into 2015, and I'm leaving my accountant job. I'm moving to a different city, and in that amount of time, I had already gained about 45 pounds. I was sitting roughly around 190, 192 pounds. Now at this point, I was a little confused, like I'm sure a lot of you are, in that I was going to the gym, I thought I was eating okay, and I didn't realize why I kept on gaining weight. Like, I went to the gym, I worked out. What was happening? Well, it was at this point, about towards the end of 2015, when I decided I needed to take a closer look at my activity level as well as what I was actually putting in my mouth. So naturally, I did some research on what you had to do to be able to lose weight. So after combing through all of the BS, all of the trendy crap that you find online, people trying to tell you, take this supplement, take that supplement, do this diet, do that diet, there are just some basic principles that you need to understand in order to lose weight. The number one principle that you need to know if you want to lose weight is that you need to be in a negative energy balance or in a calorie deficit. Now, in theory, that sounds easy, but in practice, it is much, much harder to do. So the way I determined my negative energy balance was I calculated by hand. Now, there's calculators online that you can use. You don't have to do it by hand. But the equation that I use is the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation. So what I did was I calculated how many calories I needed, and then I had to determine my progression of weight loss. So did I want to lose 1 pound a week, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds? So what I decided to do ultimately was to lose about 1 pound per week, because I had known that slow, steady weight loss tends to be more sustainable in the long run. So in order to do that, what I did was I lowered my calories by about 500 calories per day, which if you multiply that out, 500 calories times 7 days a week equals 3,500 calories, which is roughly about a pound of fat. So that's kind of where the math works in. Another thing that I did to help keep me accountable and understand my numbers, and I know this is unpopular with a lot of people, is to track your calories or log your food. So what I did is I used MyFitnessPal, and I only used it for probably 2 or 3 months. So the first couple weeks, I didn't really change much in my diet because I really wanted to see the numbers of, how many calories I was getting in right now. And I also wanted to see the composition of macronutrients, so fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. I kind of wanted to see that distribution. So the first week or two was really the eye-opener of kind of where I was at currently. And then once I got past that period, it was more of like, okay, so now we're going to start our 500 calorie deficit, and let's log and see how much food do we need to meet those goals, carbs, proteins, and fats, and not go above our calorie limit for the day. If you're gonna go the route of logging your food in a food tracker, like MyFitnessPal, for example, it is imperative that you are very meticulous when it comes to your tracking, simply because if you do not add all of your food, or you kind of half-ass it here or there, the tracker is going to show that you may be in a deficit when in reality you're not, because you didn't add those little things that you felt like didn't really count towards your calories. So be super meticulous about what you put in and pretend that your boss is going to be looking at your food tracker at the end of every single day. So put as much effort into it as you can as if it's your job. And at the top of my head, I don't remember what exactly my calorie limit was when I was 190 pounds going down, but I remember it was roughly about 1700 calories per day. So now the question becomes, what did I eat? So the beauty of when I decided to track my stuff was now I had goals and limits that I could meet. So I had a carb goal, a fat goal, a protein goal, a fiber goal, as well as a overall calorie goal that I had to hit every day or get close to at least. My breakfast would usually consist of a couple eggs, some chocolate milk, and maybe a piece of fruit. My lunch I always prepped either Saturday or Sunday before the workday, and that would consist of some type of protein, beef, steak, chicken, pork, the basic stuff, along with a vegetable. And my dinner would usually consist of same thing for more or less. It would be some type of protein, some type of vegetable, and then I would also throw in some type of carb. So it would be some rice, beans, mac and cheese, just potatoes, things like that. The thing to note about my diet and kind of how I went about doing it is I didn't pick a certain diet. I wasn't on keto, I wasn't doing paleo, I wasn't doing intermittent fasting or whatever. I was just doing what I liked. So I love eggs, I love milk, I love meat, I love some vegetables. So whatever I liked, I just pick and chose and put that in my diet every day. And I made an effort not to deprive myself of things that I love that weren't considered quote unquote healthy, right? So I could eat pizza every single day of the week and not get sick of it. So rather than doing that, I decided to just have pizza once a week. So usually at the end of the week, so every Friday night, I would go and I would have pizza. And it's not that I would, order a big pizza. I'd probably get a couple slices and I would still track it because I still wanted to be below my calories. But the important thing was that I wasn't depriving myself of what I love, because anyone who goes on a diet or reduces their calories, if you're not eating things that you enjoy, odds are that diet is going to fail. Another rule that I followed in my diet was the 80-20 principle. So what I decided to do to kind of help me adhere to my diet without depriving myself of things that I enjoyed was 80% of the calories that I was eating every day was, good, healthy, quality food. So, the eggs, the vegetables, the fruits, all those sorts of things. The 20% would be the crap. So 20% of the calories, I think I would give myself roughly about 150 to 200 calories a day of whatever I wanted. So if it was a candy bar, if it was a few bites of ice cream, whatever it was, as long as it fit within that limited calorie, that 150 to 200 calories, it fit as long as everything else I ate that day, or that 80%, was quality food. After several months, I eventually stopped tracking my food, mainly because, and this is one of the beauties of actually logging your food initially when you start to go on a diet, is you start to see what you're getting in and what the numbers look like. So I didn't need to track every day to know, what my typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner would look like. I already knew at the top of my head, okay, that's about 500 calories, so what are my other 200 going to come from today? So don't think that in order to lose weight, you must track your calories all the time. Do it for the first few months. Learn what foods contain what amount of calories, as well as macronutrients. Get familiar with the foods that you eat, and then you won't need to track anymore. As for my activity level during this weight loss journey, I still went to the gym about 4 to 5 days per week, but it was much more focused. So what I was trying to do as I was losing this weight was I was trying to maintain as much strength and muscle as I possibly could as my body weight was going down. So my strength training was pretty simple. It was your typical push-pull legs type of split. And I would also throw in cardio probably 4 times per week, doing jump rope, rowing, or some type of I would kind of make my own spin classes. But the biggest change that I decided to make was not so much in the gym, but it was more so what I did outside of the gym. So working a desk job, and my new job at the time, I was actually an auditor, so I was still at a desk typing, sitting all day. What I decided to do was incorporate more activity throughout my day, or what is actually called NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And I'll make another video in depth about what that is. But essentially, NEAT is just the movements or the activity that you do that isn't actual exercise. So ambulation, vacuuming the carpet, washing your car, just things like that that are movement but are not actual exercise. So some tweaks that I decided to incorporate throughout my day were, on my way to work, I didn't drive, I actually took the train. So rather than sitting down on the train for an hour, I decided to stand up, which added a couple hours of standing and a little bit more movement throughout the day. One thing that I did while I worked in the office was I incorporated the Pomodoro technique. So all the Pomodoro technique is you set a timer for a certain amount of time, say 20 to 30 minutes, where you're just solely laser focused on your work. And then once that time is up, you'll take a short 2-5 minute break. And it was great because every 20 or so minutes, it would remind me to get up and do some type of movement break, whether that was just standing up, stretching, or just going for a walk outside or around the office. So in the end, it took me about 9 months to get from 190 pounds back down to 150 pounds for a total of a 40-pound loss. Now, my weight loss was slow and steady, which is good because the takeaway that I'm trying to convey is that there is no shortcut and there is no supplement that is going to melt your body fat away. You have to have a plan, be invested in the plan, enjoy the plan, and then you'll be able to reap the benefits short term and in the long term. Now, since then, I've kind of fluctuated in my body fat levels depending on what I'm training for, or frankly, I can just get lazy with my eating for a few days or maybe even a few weeks. But the point is that because of what I've been through, I can easily course correct and get right back on track if I feel like I'm letting myself get out of hand. My point with this video is to share with you guys that if I can lose 40 pounds in 9 months, working a typical 9-to-5 desk job, then so can you guys. So go out there and make your plan, or hire a reputable trainer to help you create and stick to that plan, and you too can become healthier, lose weight, and improve your quality of life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.